American League Eastern Division Championship game live from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore between the Milwaukee Brewers and the Baltimore Orioles. The site is Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, filled with fervent Oriole faithful. The weather is perfect.
Number 33.
The fact that the championship of the American League East after 161 games is on the line, decided in the final game by itself, remarkable. It is an ultimate moment for baseball and the men who will play the game this afternoon. And this ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Miller High Life, the best beer for the best time of the day. Welcome to Miller Time. By Chevrolet, who invites you to take charge of a new Chevrolet car or truck at your Chevrolet dealers now. And by Gillette, makers of good news, the disposable razor with micro-smooth twin blade. And good afternoon, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson. When the Milwaukee Brewers were 4 games out in front of the American League East with 5 games to play, a lot of people yawned and said, well, it's over. When the Milwaukee Brewers came to Baltimore to play the final 4 games of the 1982 season, they had only to win 1 to clinch the American League East. They have not been able to do it. They have instead been pummeled by the Baltimore Orioles by scores of 8-3, 7-1, 11-3, outscored 26-7. How? Why? For what reason? No one can really answer your question, not even the ball players themselves. But they know, all of them, that this game is played one day at a time. And thus you have this afternoon quite a remarkable circumstance with a full World Series or playoff flair. It is a wall-to-wall sellout. And all the elements for special sports drama here, including the potential last game for Earl Weaver, who has managed here for 15 seasons. The pitching matchup is also very special today. 2 veteran right-handers with 520 wins between them. Don Sutton for Milwaukee and Jim Palmer for Baltimore. And to that story now with Howard Cosell.
Well, I think you put it very well and very completely. Let me just say this, and there's no need to build up the superb nature of this pitching matchup either. It speaks for itself. Don Sutton, 257 career victories, a record so far this season in the 2 leagues of 16-9. The opponent, Jim Palmer, 263 career victories. Both pitchers clearly destined for the Baseball Hall of Fame. But Jim Palmer this year had an incredible 15-4. Seems to have recovered the acceleration in that rising fastball of his that was his trademark through all of the years. As personalities, the 2 men do have a similarity. They're about as cool as any pitcher could be, based upon experience, to meet this kind of crisis game, because they have met the same kind of situation, if not exactly the same, similar thereto throughout their respective careers. And this crowd is going crazy, as you can hear in the background. In the meantime, should it be necessary to bring in Raleigh Fingers, he of the damaged right pitching elbow, he is prepared to pitch today to 1, 2, maybe as many as 3 batters, no more than that. That's the backdrop of the pitching matchup. Back to you, Keith.
I can only say, as we get ready for the first pitch, this is Major League quality sports, coming live from Baltimore this afternoon.
Batting second, the likely MVP, Robin Yount. Batting third, heavy-hitting Cecil Cooper. Dangerous Ted Simmons in the cleanup spot. Then Ben Ogilvie with 34 homers. After him, Gorman Thomas with 39 homers. The DH is Roy Howell. And then the developing right fielder, Charlie Moore. Finally, the highly prized second baseman, Jim Gantner, the Milwaukee Brewers lineup.
All right, Howard, and defensively for the Baltimore Orioles, they will line up this way. Eddie Murray at first base, Rich Dower at second base, Cal Ripken at shortstop, and Glenn Gulliver at third base. In the outer defense, John Lowenstein. Over in right, Jim Dwyer, and Al Bumbry in center. He's playing with aches and pains and made a marvelous catch against the wall to rob Robin Yount of a home run in yesterday's game. Behind the plate is Rick Dempsey, and Jim Palmer is on the mound. The Milwaukee Brewers will send up against Jim Palmer 3 left-handed hitters.
The Baltimore Orioles have enough depth organized in the main by Earl Weaver, that they will be able to send to the plate today against Don Sutton 6 left-handed hitters. This could be a day when an error of omission is as meaningful as an error of commission. And the men in charge of the game behind the plate, Don Dinkinger calling balls and strikes. First base is Jim Evans. Larry Barnett is at second base and Rich Garcia at third base. And it is a very good umpiring crew. So we are ready to go in an afternoon that just could not be more glorious. I don't see anything resembling clouds, maybe a little wisp here and there. The field is in perfect condition, thanks in the main to the NFL players' strike, because 2 games would have been played here prior to today. But obviously no games have been played here recently, and the field is virtually perfect.
It is virtually perfect. One note, the groundskeeper here, one of the most respected in all of baseball, Pat Santaroni. And Pat goes back with Earl Weaver an awful lot of years, back to when they were together again at Elmira in New York. If the mound may look a little high to you at some point, I was kidding Pat about it before the game with Milwaukee manager Harvey Keene present, suggesting that the mound may be a little high. The rule is the mound must be no more than 10 inches higher than the plate. And Keene took it seriously, said to Pat, I'm going to set up a tripod and have the thing measured. He did not, of course, but the mound, in fact, looks a little high.
Among the many elements that will come to memory this afternoon will be the fact that back in 1966, as you look at Harvey Keene, Jim Palmer won a ball game in that 1966 World Series against the Los Angeles Dodgers at age 21. And sitting in the other dugout, also at the age of 21, was a young right-hander named Don Sutton. And as the years have gone by, they have proven themselves to be major leaguers of the first quality. And here in 1982, they face off in one of the more meaningful games either of them will pitch.
I don't know that 66 was any kind of augury, but the Birds won that World Series in 4 straight. On the wings of an extraordinary catch by an ordinarily poor left fielder named Kurt Leffery, plunging into the left field wall right here at Memorial Stadium.
Paul Molitor, the third baseman, will lead it off, followed by Robin Yount and Cecil Cooper. And 2 of the most important men in the Milwaukee lineup are hitting 1 and 2. Molitor and Yount. Keep them off base. You can control the Brewers. And the first pitch is lifted to right for Jim Dwyer, who looks up into the high, bright sky and makes the catch for out number 1.
Molitor, a notoriously eager first ball, fastball hitter. But Jim kept that ball away on the outside. Net result, he hit it where it was pitched and the fly to right.
Now the man that most people figure the front runner for the MVP award in the American League, Robin Yount, who has had a remarkable year, the shortstop. And Palmer's first pitch to Robin is high and outside. The numbers on Yount: 27 home runs, 112 runs batted in, and a .328 batting average going into this final game of the season. Outside corner, and the count is 1-1.
Palmer may be red hot today. He was complaining of aches and pains last night.
Shot foul down the right side, ricocheting into the crowd. Palmer has the edge at 1-2.
The Birds have come to recognize that the more Jim complains, the more likely he is that you look at that graphic. If he beats Milwaukee today, he'll be the only pitcher in the league to have beaten them 3 times in this season. When Jim complains, the Birds grow in confidence.
I think Jim has grown in confidence, too, in what he has been able to accomplish as a result of a self-imposed regimen during the off-season, restoring velocity and hop to his fastball. We have a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes to Robin Yount with Cecil Cooper on deck. It is now full at 3-2. The first 2 pitches to Yount, fastball. The last 2 pitches have been breaking pitches.
In the air to right. Dwyer to the corner. To the wall. Home run for Robin Yount, lifted to the off field, and the Brewers break on top. And that is a very important factor to consider, because in the series here in Baltimore against the Orioles, the Brewers have been in the position of having to come from behind, way behind, and couldn't play their game.
Well, as we look at this home run again, it's a vivid evidence of why Yount is so highly regarded for the MVP. His power is to all fields. Remember, the shortstop position. When you have a man who has that kind of home run power, that gives him 28 on the season, 113 runs batted in out of the shortstop position, then you've got a very special talent.
The batter is Cecil Cooper, and the first pitch spun him around. A typical Palmer greeting after being long balled by Robin Yount. Yount's shot went out at about 320 feet and had plenty of carry, about 10 rows back. The Brewers get the early lead, 1-0, and Cooper is up there now with a 1-ball, no strike count. Cecil with big numbers as he takes a strike of 313 and 31 home runs. And there is Robin Yount.
Right. That'll be interesting to see Palmer's reaction. He has said throughout his career, I don't mind a solo home run. Those with men on base kill me.
Edge to Palmer against Cooper. 1-2. Cecil came over to the Milwaukee Brewers from the Boston Red Sox. It was one of the best deals Harry Dalton has ever made. Foul back upstairs.
That, if you'll remember, was the great Scott deal, Keith.
Right. George Scott going over to Boston. One of the men who confirms the mistake from the Boston side, Don Zimmer, who was then the manager of the Red Sox. Cecil pops it up. The shortstop, Cal Ripken, drifts back to the grass and makes the catch for out number 2.
Ted Simmons, now, it's been said all year long, hardly needs repeating, this is a dynamite batting order. Perhaps the most dangerous in either major league.
Loop over the shortstop. Ripken makes a grab at it and cannot come up with it, and Simmons is aboard with a base hit. Second hit of the inning off Jim Palmer, but that one obviously lacking the authority of the stroke by Robin Yount, and it brings to the plate dangerous Ben Ogilvie, who has hit 34 big ones in 1982.
And who in Jim's most recent victory over Milwaukee, when Palmer allowed but 4 hits at Milwaukee, Ogilvie got 2 of those hits, and the DH today, Roy Howell, got the other 2.
So Benji is in, standing deep in the box against the right-hander. And Palmer starts him, taking something off the fastball, and misses with it. Harvey Keene has done a pretty good sales job on Ben Ogilvie in his association with Ben. He has convinced him he has enough power to quit worrying about pulling the ball. And since Ben has been able to do it, he has been like thunder at the plate. Foul back.
How ironic, Keith. You get down to the one game, the whole season at stake. And Weaver and Palmer, who through all of the years have traded barbs and have had open quarrels, now their dependency interlaced, each man needing the other so desperately.
And the pitch here is high to Ogilvie, and your count is 2-1. Their relationship has been unusual. I think both of them in conversation ultimately get around to a key word.
Respect.
That's exactly right. It's fun to sit and watch an event like this unfold in the course of an afternoon, because this is the kind of a contest that needs little embellishment. Everything's here. The 2 best teams in the American League East, some of the best players in all the game. It's all here.
And they will take it as long as they can take it.
The two best records in baseball for the two teams here today.
2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 out and 1 run in for Milwaukee in the top of the first inning. Ted Simmons leading off first base for the Brewers. And Cooper bounces it over the mound. Ripken, the shortstop, steps on second, retiring Ted Simmons. And so the first inning is over. And Milwaukee gets on the board, leading 1-0.
Batting second, the relative newcomer, Glenn Gulliver. In the third spot, the DH, Kenny Singleton. Batting cleanup, the star of the club, Eddie Murray. After him, having a big year, John Lowenstein. Then comes Jim Dwyer, who seems to be forever on base. Cal Ripken, the Rookie of the Year, at shortstop. Next, Rick Dempsey, the guts and glue of the club. Next, and Rich Dower, who does it all, batting ninth.
Defensively, for the Milwaukee Brewers, Cecil Cooper at first base. Young Jim Gantner at second base. Yount is the shortstop. Molitor at third. The outer defense, left field is Ben Ogilvy. Center field, Gorman Thomas. And right field, Charlie Moore, who came up originally as a catcher. Doing the catching is Ted Simmons. And on the mound, Don Sutton, who at age 37 has won 257 games in the major leagues. He's had a bit of a cold, sore throat and a touch of the flu. He has had a shot for that, but said this morning at breakfast he felt just fine, and has repeated a couple of dozen times in the last 24 hours, this is the kind of a game you live for.
He says he wouldn't want to be anyplace else. First he had a penicillin shot. That produced a reaction. Then he had a cortisone shot to ward off the penicillin reaction. But he says today he feels great.
Came from Alabama, went to Hollywood, and has been successful. Now living in Milwaukee. And he pitches to Al Bumbry. And Bumbry jumps on the first pitch and lifts it up in the air to the second baseman. Gantner back on the grass, 1 down. So both leadoff men jump on the first pitch.
Batting second,
Glenn Gulliver, the third baseman, comes in with a 191 batting average. He came up from Rochester. He has the capacity to get on base, and that is something that pleases Earl Weaver, and that's why he is here, despite the low batting average. Shot foul. He is also, in this respect, a Weaver kind of player in that he doesn't say much, just goes out and works at his trade.
I'm not so sure about that, Keith. Palmer says a lot. Rick Dempsey says a lot. There are a lot of talkers on that team.
That's true. Especially when Earl is around, a dandy bunt. Roll down the third base line. Molitor's throw. Throws it away. Gulliver turns and goes to second. The ball bounces into the stand. Paul had no play and wound up giving Gulliver the extra base.
That's the second day in a row that Molitor has erred on a bunt play. Gulliver, the man executing the bunt. It happened yesterday and led to a couple of runs for the Birds. There was Molitor coming in, late on the bunt, and then the errant throw, which should not have been made at all.
It is a single for Gulliver and an error on Molitor, putting him on second base. And here is the switch-hitting Ken Singleton, today's DH, with 77 runs batted in. Capable of the long ball from either side of the plate. Hits it high in the air, into the outfield, going to the center fielder, Gorman Thomas, shading his eyes, and whips the throw back in. And Gulliver stays at second base. 2 down.
Molitor has been played at so many positions. His uncertainty in the field at any one of them becomes understandable. Last year in the playoff series against the Yankees, he had deep trouble playing right field. Remember, Keith?
The man who leads this ball club, Eddie Murray. His numbers reflected there. Obviously, a prime candidate for the most valuable player honors in the American League in 1982. 2 of the prime candidates
opposing each other today. Murray for Baltimore, Yount for Milwaukee, and the third candidate, at least in my mind, would be Doug DeCinces, the third baseman of California.
Once they said Murray was a fastball hitter when he first came up, nothing more. If that was true then, it's not true now.
Sutton gets a strike on the inside corner.
He can hit the change, he can hit the curve, he can hit the fastball. He is a complete ball player. There you see that graphic. 372 with 2 outs, runners in scoring position.
Sutton goes outside with him and misses for a 1-1 count. Gulliver on second base with 2 out. Milwaukee getting a robbing Yount home run in the top of the first inning for a 1-0 lead. Two balls and a strike.
That's not very good, is it?
Not
7.04 ERA.
Not the kind of numbers you want to go to sleep with. Inside again. Murray says he nicked me on the arm. Don Denkinger has a look. Says I don't see a whelp.
Denkinger, by the way, has his own history of controversy in this ballpark. Let's have another look at the pitch. As Murray lifted his arms up, he would have had to be nicked right on the elbow as he uplifted that elbow, but Denkinger disagreed. Still, Murray has some words with him.
Weaver is on his way. The trainer is coming with him. They want to see the arm.
Now, this is not to be confused with the old shoe polish case.
Ralph Salvon, the trainer.
Back in '58, Milwaukee against the Yankees, we had the Nippy Jones. Let's look at it again and see what, if anything, we can say. What do you make of it, Keith?
I can't tell. A passive visit by Weaver. He is enjoying this day so much you cannot begin to measure it. 3-1 count on Eddie Murray with 2 out, and Sutton misses outside with his breaking pitch. Murray is on. 2 aboard now, and John Lowenstein coming to the plate.
What a year this man has had. Being used on the basis of Weaver's platoon system, he's hitting .320, 24 home runs, 66 runs batted in.
John Lowenstein. John is always good for a one-liner or two before a ball game, but today he was very quiet.
Yes, he's uptight.
Shot to right, base hit. Gulliver coming around third. Here's the throw. Oh, he stopped for a moment, and he's a dead duck. Murray has gone on down to third base, and Gulliver did not hold. I don't know whether he saw Ripken's indication to hold at third, but he kept coming halfway down the line, apparently running through the sign, and Charlie Moore made a heck of a throw.
All right, now watch, and you'll see right here where he slowed up. Ripken, the third base coach, trying desperately to hold him up, but it was too late, and the play was easily made. By the way, another sterling throwing effort by the developing right fielder Charlie Moore, who executed a similar play yesterday, getting Singleton at the plate. Lowenstein at single to right. Moore throwing home. Ripken waving his hands upward, trying to hold him up frantically, but Gulliver wasn't even looking at him, and so he was a dead pigeon. How big this play will loom later on can only be determined by the future flow of play. And here he is.
Mr. Muscle.
Thomas. Yep.
Gorman Thomas with 39 home runs and 112 runs knocked in for Milwaukee. He'll be followed by Roy Howell, the DH, and Charlie Moore. Jim Palmer's first pitch to Thomas, a fastball for a strike. And it was up in the upper part of the strike zone.
Oddly, Thomas has the best career batting average of any Brewer against Palmer.
Her ball bounces at the plate.
Which you wouldn't expect because he is so prone to strike out. You can see he's been in the doldrums recently. But there is his career record against Jim that I referred to.
He has such good bat velocity and control, you make any kind of mistake on him, and it's gone. That's high. In the four-hitter that Palmer pitched a week ago Saturday over in Milwaukee for the 5-2 win, his location was virtually perfect that day. And against a fellow like Gorman Thomas, your location had better be pretty good. 3 balls and 1 strike.
He went 3-2 against Robin Yount, and Yount got him for the opposite field home run. Now he's 3-1.
Ball 4. And so Gorman Thomas goes to first base, where Ron Hansen, the first base coach, greets him. Harry Warner is the third base coach for Harvey Keene. And Palmer now will pitch to Roy Howell, the DH.
This is the man who had 2 singles against Palmer in Jim's successful outing against the Brewers in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee is leading 1-0. Baltimore wasting an opportunity in the bottom of the first inning when Gulliver ran through third base coach Cal Ripken's side and was thrown out by the right fielder Charlie Moore. Palmer throws it away. And Thomas goes to second. He's going to third. The throw across is not in time and backed up by Palmer. The ball skipping past Gulliver. Gorman Thomas would have scored had Palmer not been there to back up.
Another look at this. Jim suddenly whirling, throwing over. The ball thrown behind the runner. Nothing Murray could do about that. And notice, early in this game, it's the Birds who are making the mistakes that the Brewers committed yesterday.
And with nobody out, Howell steps in with a chance to deliver. Another run for Milwaukee. Foul ball, first base side. This is the first time that Baltimore has ever played for a championship in the final game of the season. Milwaukee won the strike year American League East a year ago, but then lost in the final game of the miniseries to the Yankees. Howell checks and takes a slider inside. Ball 1-1 count.
We saw Ripken move his arm over to the third base umpire by way of appeal on the pitch, but it was what it was called by the home plate umpire.
That's a roller to first base. Contact. Run comes to the plate and scores. Eddie Murray bobbles it for a moment, picks it up, retires Howell. Milwaukee leads 2-0.
Crowd grows silent.
Number 22, Charlie Moore.
They're not accustomed to seeing the Birds mishandle the ball.
Gorman Thomas walking, going to third base on the throw by Jim Palmer that got away at first base. And on contact, he broke from third and scored.
Let me tell you, going from first to third, Keith, that was a nifty backup by Palmer on the throw. Runner could have scored even then had there been an errant backup.
Don Deckinger, the plate umpire, is giving Charlie Moore a brief lesson in the perimeter of the batting area. Charlie is back as far
as the law will allow. It hits a sharp shot to Ripken, bobbles it for a moment, comes up with it and throws him out. Youngster has a big arm at shortstop. 2 down.
Look at this again from our center field camera. The ball was sharply hit by Charlie Moore, and it handcuffed Ripken, but only momentarily, and he has the big arm that Keith referred to. It's a rifle.
Here is young Jim Gentner, who is developing into one of the better second basemen in baseball and becoming a very tough out, as his numbers reflect.
He's a slick operator with the bat. Yesterday, as that was a strike, of course. Yesterday in the second inning, when they were struggling to get back in the ball game with 2 out, he sliced one into left field. Hit it inside out, in fact. Drove in 2 runs to turn a 3-0 Baltimore lead into a then tough game, 3-2.
Count on Gentner, 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 out, a run in. That ball is well hit. Up the alley, Bumbry, going. Near the track, reaches high and pulls it down. Only Bumbry's speed kept it from going against the fence. So Milwaukee adds another run as Baltimore's defense is loose. They lead it after 1.5, 2-0.
Coverage of the American and National League playoffs begins Tuesday night on ABC.
Don Sutton, a cool cookie. I asked him about his state of nerves today.
No, I don't. Maybe I should be psychoanalyzed or something because of it, but it's fun. I like what I do, and I just can't think of anything I'd rather be doing today. And it's not the end of the world for me if I lose, and it's not the greatest thing that'll ever happen to me if I win. It's just another step in what has been a very happy life, and another step along the way to someplace I hope to be when I retire.
One can rationalize anything, can't one?
He's that kind of guy.
Sutton pitching now to Jim Dwyer, Cal Ripken, and Rick Dempsey. And Dwyer flirting with a piece of baseball history. He has reached base 13 consecutive times, 8 base hits and 5 walks. The major league record is Ted Williams, September of 1957 with 16.
And Ted Williams, Dwyer's old batting coach. Sutton's a personality. He found a home in Hollywood, except for when he was brawling with Steve Garvey in the Dodger clubhouse.
Dwyer fouls it away, coming back out of play into the crowd. The shadows will now become a factor as we wear on toward 4 o'clock. By 5, the shadows will be no problem. But over the next hour, the shadows will be a factor. That's foul. To be absolutely correct, I suppose, on the 1982 season, one would have to say this is the 163rd game these two teams have played, because they locked horns in a 2-2 tie, and the game was suspended, and they had to play it again. That's foul back.
Since you delve into that, this is only the 3rd time in baseball history that the situation has existed that exists today between these two teams. Last time it happened was at Yankee Stadium in '49 when Vic Raschi beat Ellis Kinder in the final game. The Yankees won the pennant on a 3-run double to right field by Jerry Coleman.
Tap back to Sutton by Dwyer. Don flips over to first baseman Cecil Cooper. You've got 1 out.
End of streak for Dwyer. Then you talk about a tie game. Go back to 1908 when you were in your prime, Keith. And the Cubs beat the Giants 4-2. 3-finger Brown over Christy Mathewson. And they were replaying a game that had been tied because Bonehead Merkel had failed to touch second on a hit by Al Birdwell. Those are the other 2 times that we had this kind of situation in baseball history.
Baltimore shortstop Cal Ripken takes a strike from Don Sutton.
You were at the 1908 game.
Of course. crystal mic and all. Of course, nobody could hear it. The strike one pitch is fouled away, and Sutton has the edge at 0-2. Very slight breeze drifting out toward left field. Looking back over the years with Earl Weaver reflected there on your television screen, Baltimore has been notorious for having inclement weather in important moments in their baseball, including that 79 World Series against Pittsburgh.
Ooh, snow.
But today it is just glorious.
Sutton continues at this pace another couple of innings as you look at the Milwaukee bench, and Harvey Keene, the manager, centered there.
Wrist hits it to the right side, and Charlie Moore gives ground to make the catch. Sort of side saddled it because Charlie's got to look up into that bright sky. 2 down.
Sutton keeps this up a couple of more innings. Look for Earl Weaver to start a career in harassment. He'll want to look at that ball. He'll challenge what Sutton is throwing. Don is prepared for it, Keith.
With 2 down, the pitch to Rick Dempsey, the Baltimore catcher. Ball 1. And Rick says very quickly, get rid of that baseball. It's got a spot on it. Scrap iron. Tough guy. Rick Dempsey. His battery mate Jim Palmer right there. He is a battler, this fellow. Liner, and Yount can't come down with it. Tipped his glove and rolls into the outfield, and Dempsey is aboard.
Now the center field camera. And as the ball sank, Rick was there to lift it just over that outstretched reach of Yount. Dempsey is an amazing ball player. It doesn't show in the averages, but this man is the real field leader of this Baltimore team. Make no mistake about it. A superb catcher with a capacity to hit in the clutch, and an outstanding hit-and-run hitter, hitting behind the runner to right field.
Rich Dower strokes it. Little soft looper going out into center field. And Gorman Thomas lopes in to make the catch. And we've played 2 with Milwaukee leading 2-0. We'll be back after Jim Lampley and a commercial message.
As the Dodgers root for San Diego to beat the Braves, they try to keep the heat on themselves. And in the top of the second, Ron Cey, with Rick Mundy on base, delivers his 24th home run of the year off of Bill Lasky. Los Angeles has taken a 2-0 lead off of San Francisco in the top of the second inning. We'll be going back to Baltimore for the showdown after this.
The good news. In shaving tests nationwide, Gillette's Good News disposal.
There's 2 balls and no strikes.
Molitor looking this time. Remember, usually a fastball, first ball hitter, but the first pitch was low. Clearly a ball. Molitor laid off.
Stings it pretty well, sending Bumbrey deep to center field, near the warning track, makes the catch for out number 1.
You mentioned Ron Cey. Can't tell you my admiration for that young man. I have nightmares about him. Keeps getting hit in the helmet, and thank the Lord for the helmet. You remember Gossage a year ago, and he came back and even got a home run as the World Series wore on.
We had one recently where Mike Witt of California hit John Wathan of Kansas City in the side of the head, and Wathan lay there for a moment, got up, went to first base, ran the bases, and continued in the ball game as the catcher.
Well, Ron got hit in the helmet yesterday on the base paths, and for a moment I had that nightmare again. But here he is back with a homer today. The Penguin is a battler.
Palmer started Yount with a curveball, comes in on the hands with a fastball. Yount fouls it back to make it 1-1.
Can't believe they once played this game without the helmet. First they went to the helmet liner, remember? Then the helmet itself.
The pitch is just low. 2-1 the count. Jim Palmer was 1-1 with a 6+ earned run average back in the month of May, early May. He went into the bullpen. He worked there for a while, got himself organized, and since May 25, when he came back as a starter, that ball is well hit, deep left field. It's gone. and Robin Yount has hit successive home runs off Jim Palmer, and Milwaukee leads 3-0.
And he has hit the home runs in the very manner we talked about. One to right field, the opposite field. This one deep up the left center alley. Extraordinary power for a shortstop. Let's look at it again, and this pitch will be upstairs, right in his groove. He got around on it. There was no question about it. And they are hitting Jim Palmer in each and every inning. So far, 1 run at a time.
Cooper fouls it back.
That was perhaps overstated. The second inning, Palmer's errant throw to first caused the second Milwaukee run.
Each time, however, he has been stung by Yount. He has had to pitch from behind. And each time he's had the ball up over the plate, and Yount has cashed it in. 3-0 Milwaukee. And the count to Cooper now. 2 balls and a strike. And look out. Shot to right. Murray flags it down. He nailed it, but Murray grabbed it.
But every ball this inning has been hard hit. Yes, the word Keith used was sting. Molitor stung one as we look at this again to deep center field. Bunbury corralled it. This had the look of a double down the line. Murray picked it off. The Yount blow too far.
Ted Simmons at the plate now with 2 down and a run in, and Palmer changes. Misses low. Mike Flanagan is up in the bullpen for Baltimore. This is staff day. We cannot afford to let Milwaukee get the edge. Let them play their game. There's Mike warming up.
Milwaukee has a good edge now with 3 runs and with a solid crisis-proven pitcher. There he is, Don Sutton.
Pitch is up, and now it's 3 balls and no strikes to Simmons. And Flanagan is joined now by a right-hander out in the bullpen, John Flynn. Palmer walks him.
Weaver is edgy, and you can understand it, Keith. He can't let this game get further out of hand.
That is the second walk issued by Jim Palmer. And now he's got to work to Ben Ogilvie. And Ray Miller comes out of the Milwaukee dugout on his way to the mound for the visit. Say the Baltimore dugout. He certainly wouldn't come out of the Milwaukee dugout. This is one of the men that some people around this part of the country think could succeed Earl Weaver as the manager. Other people seem to be of the opinion the job may be offered to Cal Ripken Sr. But the point is that the Baltimore organization is an inbred organization in the main, developing their own players out of the farm system and have the history of staying within the organization for their managers. Joe Altobelli and John McNamara are other names that have bandied about, but it'll be some time probably before that decision is made. So Miller goes back now to the dugout, and Palmer stays. Trailing in the ball game 3-0. 2 home runs by Robin Yount, 1 to right and a big one to left. And the throwing error by Palmer delivering Gorman Thomas for the other Milwaukee run.
Excuse me, Atlanta and San Diego are tied at 0 in the second inning.
Ted Simmons, who reached his first time on a single, having walked this time, is on first base. Murray holding inside against him. And ball 1 to Ben Ogilvie. Gorman Thomas to the on-deck circle. Over the top with good velocity on a fastball. And it's 1-1. And misses on a good slider at the hand. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Palmer seemed to lapse for just a moment in walking Simmons. Now he's bowed his neck against Ben. The 1-2 pitch. Popped up. First baseman Eddie Murray will make the play near the mound. So the Milwaukee Brewers add another run on Yount's homer, and they lead after 2.5, 3-0.
It's a funny feeling when you're 17, just finished school, and times are lean, don't have a job, don't know what to do, never learned a skill, and you want to work too. Well, you know the services have the means to teach someone who's still in his teens. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, they'll take you, train you, show you the way. You'll work hard, get decent pay in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Serving your country's a real good start, helping pay for colleges and services part. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Future in doubt, shed that lead. Join the services and get ahead in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. It's a great place to start.
When you live and work around the water, you put in some pretty long days. But you know, I guess that's what makes us really enjoy our nights.
Welcome to Miller Time. It's all yours, and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. You've got the time, we've got the beer for what you have in mind. Welcome to Miller Time.
The best beer for the best time of the day. Miller High Life.
Bring your thirsty self right here. You've got the time, we've got the beer for what you have in mind. Welcome to Miller Time, yours and mine.
Coming up for Baltimore, Al Bumbry, Glenn Gulliver, and Ken Singleton. And we're now told, as you see, Wild Bill Hagee exhorting the faithful, and that broom that they're waving there is a result of a new cheer that the faithful have come up with in this series. They're shouting for a sweep of the Milwaukee Brewers. We're told now that it's 2-2 at Candlestick Park in San Francisco between the Giants and the Dodgers. Don Denkinger had gone over to the Milwaukee dugout with Ted Simmons. And now he and Don Sutton are engaged in conversation, and I frankly haven't been able to figure out what it is.
Maybe about the ball.
Weaver comes out. He's curious too, so Earl comes out to get an explanation of what's going on. The entire umpiring crew went over to the Milwaukee dugout with Simmons. Earl will grow more and more active in this game as it goes on.
And if Sutton keeps the Birds away from home plate, as I said, he will inevitably begin to harass him.
All right, it's the second time around for the Orioles against Sutton. Bumbry, Gulliver, Singleton, top of the order. Bumbry popped out on the first pitch to the second baseman, Gentner, his first time up this afternoon. And Sutton starts in with a fastball that is low.
The base running failure in the first inning that may have cost Baltimore a run or possibly two will loom increasingly large.
There's a strike. And it's 1-1. You see the shadows now beginning to creep on out on the playing surface. And they will become troublesome for the hitter. That ball is pulled down the right side, and it is foul. Close.
Awfully close.
That ball's in the corner. The way it can ricochet around down there, Bumbry would have run for a while. Another look at it. It's just inside the railing. So Al is back with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cooper to Sutton, and Bumbry is out. Gulliver now coming to the plate. Don Sutton, at 37 years of age, coming over to the Milwaukee Brewers from Houston on August 30th. As Bud Selig
As Harry Dalton and everybody in the organization realized they needed some pitching help, and a lot of people were surprised they could get Don Sutton.
Well, Al Rosen explained that at length to me when I challenged him on it. I think what they're really trying to do at Houston, and a firm friendship grew, by the way, between Sutton and Rosen. I think they're really trying to discount his salary.
That pitch is high. 1 ball and 1 strike to Glenn Gulliver, who was aboard on a single, moved to second on an error throw by the third baseman, a bunt single, and then ran through the stop sign on the third base coach, Cal Ripken, and was thrown out by Charlie Moore.
End of 3, Atlanta, San Diego, 0-0. Giants have caught the Dodgers there at 2-2. If the Dodgers lose, forget it. Atlanta's in.
Atlanta, St. Louis. Those Cardinals, the first of the clubs to clinch a division championship.
There is the pitching comparison. I said both are destined for the Hall of Fame, and I believe that that is true. Sutton is determined to stay in baseball, though he could have a career in broadcast. He wants 300 career wins. Palmer feels exactly the same way.
The 1-2 pitch is fouled off, and the count holds. Jimmy Williams coaching at first base for Baltimore. Cal Ripken at third. One of those games that's like walking on eggshells or sitting on a barrel of dynamite. Sort of depends on your perspective. Right now, Milwaukee is leading with single runs in the first 3 innings by a score of 3-0. That ball is well hit to the right side. Well hit. And Moore looks, it's gone. So Gulliver atones.
Yes, you're right. Makes a difference. One has a tendency as we look at it again from our center field camera, and the ball, as you can see, is up and out there, and a perfect ball for Gulliver to deposit in the right field stands. It's Glenn Gulliver's first major league home run.
And the Orioles, who have scored 26 runs against Milwaukee pitching in the first 3 games, are on the board in a 3-1 game with Ken Singleton standing at the plate and 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Low and away.
There is Glenn Gulliver. Makes it a little bit easier to forget his running mistake on the paths when he ignored Cal Ripken's exhortation to hold up at third. That in the first inning.
Singleton hits it deep to center field. Gorman Thomas going back. Jumps. Makes the catch as he bangs into the wall. Gorman played it very well. A little mistake by Thomas in his timing of his jump. The ball is gone.
Let's look at it from a different angle. Look at Gorman, sensing where the fence is, knowing where it is, going into the padding, and the ball above the barrier would have gone in my opinion. Look at that. Marvelous play. Still another look as we bring many of our cameras into play. And there, certainly from that angle, one would have to surmise that the ball would have gone out of the park.
Eddie Murray is up as the Orioles reach Sutton here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Suddenly, they are tagging Sutton.
Misses. 2 balls and no strikes.
Harvey Keene, you've been through what he's been through. You develop equanimity. Twice major surgery, the 3rd time around amputation of a leg. So he can face this and say, I know what life's all about, and win or lose, this is just a ball game.
Checks on the breaking pitch. It is high and outside. 3 balls and no strikes.
to Eddie Murray. 2 down. Gulliver's home run, putting Baltimore on the scoreboard here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. It's a fair ball. Good play by Cooper. Over to Sutton. Gets him at first base. Good play by Cecil Cooper going down the line to glove the sharp shot by Murray.
People forget that Cooper is more than just a slugger, that he's also a gold glover at first base. And as you look at him again, you can see the evidence of that. We will be back in Baltimore Stadium in a moment.
Spoon, fork, spoon, fork. Oh, look, chunky beef soup. And you eat soup with a spoon, right, Tuttle?
See all that good solid food, chunks of beef, potatoes, and carrots? It's a meal you eat with a fork. Right, Tuttle?
Soup.
Meal.
Okay, Tuttle, you decide. Is chunky a soup?
Or meal?
Chunky's the soup that eats like a meal.
Campbell's Chunky Beef, the soup that eats like a meal.
Right, guys?
Right.
Ollie, I think we're lost.
That's because I can't see out this windshield.
What we need is a new set of Anchor wiper blades, like these.
Yes. Give me those.
Replace your old wipers with Anco blades at least once a year. Their special formulated natural rubber gives both American and import cars a clean, smooth wipe.
See? That's much better. But this weather is unbearable.
It certainly is, Ollie.
I'm finished.
There's change.
I'm not finished. I'm finished.
Take out chart B.
Not finished.
Why put together your documents the hard way?
I'm finished. What?
When IBM has office systems that can revise large documents
I revised the contracts for the meeting. They're fine, and they're on their way.
and even send them across the country completely collated. Now that's a lot easier, isn't it?
I'm finished. Add this.
Delete this.
I'm not finished.
Puzzle? Well, if you want scores, if you want late-breaking sports news, if you want the best college football analysis, only ABC Sports makes the pieces fit.
Going to the top of the 4th inning, the championship game of the American League Eastern Division for 1982. Milwaukee leading 3-1. The California Angels have already clinched the West. They're waiting to see which team they will play. And they will host whichever. Gorman Thomas, Roy Howell, and Charlie Moore. Coming to the plate now.
Angels have a lineup most closely comparable in terms of slugging strength to this Milwaukee team.
No score. Atlanta, San Diego, top of the 4th in the National League West.
Center fielder, Gorman Thomas.
The Dodgers, with their big win yesterday in San Francisco, eliminating the Giants. But the Giants would walk on hot coals to damage the Dodger hopes in that rivalry.
They certainly would. And being knocked out of the race doesn't dull one bit. So we look at a ball. My admiration for Frank Robinson. What a job he did.
Yes. And they made the right move in San Francisco in going to the young people, I think.
It's proved out.
As indeed. Lasky, one of the young pitchers, right-hander, working today for San Francisco.
Loss of Chili Jones didn't help in the late going. I mean, Chili Davis didn't help in the late going either.
That's right.
2-2 top of the 3rd in that Dodger game.
Gorman Thomas, who walked the first time with a count of 1-1 now against Palmer. He went to third base on Palmer's errant throw at first and then scored when Roy Howell, the designated hitter, rolled the ball down the first base line. And Palmer is low and away to Thomas. When you look down the Milwaukee batting order and you see numbers like 112 runs batted in, 118, 95, 101, 112.
It's awesome.
Get the message pretty quick, don't you?
Just awesome.
But they've handled them in the 3 previous games. The Brewers have scored 7 runs. It's now 2 balls and 2 strikes as Palmer burns the black of the plate with a perfect pitch against Thomas.
It was exactly that, a perfect pitch. So he's even with Thomas now.
Ball is hit to right center field. It's got a tail on it. Bunbury coming hard and falls and holds on. You're getting all they've got today in this one.
And as we look at it again, Mr. Bunbury They keep writing that he's at the end, and that's why young Shelby has been brought up. But he won't give in. This is a professional ball player. Instant judgment as to where the ball would be, saw it tailing off, and got it. Now Roy Howell, the DH.
With one away. Out to the first baseman unassisted his first time, and Palmer is on the inside corner for a strike with a slider. Bad pitch. Swung at a bad pitch. The changeup has become a very useful weapon for Palmer, and there it was.
Here we look at it again. You'll see the pitch tail away from the left-hand batter, drop precipitously, a bad pitch, bouncing. And Howell bit for it.
1 ball and 2 strikes now. Roll to the first baseman. And Eddie Murray, for the second time of the ball game, makes the play unassisted on Roy Howell. That brings up Charlie Moore.
The observation you made earlier seems to me has been the key one on Palmer's pitching effort thus far. Only when he gets behind the hitter has he had problems. He's made 2 mistakes with Yount.
When he walked Thomas, he seemed to have a momentary lapse of control and concentration. Particularly when it involved the errant throw at first base. But now he again looks solid.
That's Jim Palmer. That's a Palmer pitch. Getting that black as you put it.
Ball is hit well to left, hooking, foul.
He
Oh,
was
it's hit
lucky.
well.
That pitch got away from him. Up high. You saw it, Keith. Look at this one again. You'll see it right up where Moore wanted it.
Palmer does not have the hop on his fastball.
See it?
Doesn't last long. That was eye high. Pitching these days with guile. He's up high again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. It was interesting to watch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. It was interesting to watch the Milwaukee Brewers when they were assembling to come to the ballpark today. They seemed easy, not uptight. But you know they were churning. That is foul. If you don't have a little churn in your stomach coming into a ball game like this, you're in the wrong business.
Except that Sutton insists no. Palmer, since June 1st, 13-1 with an ERA of 2.24. Simply remarkable. And you say he's pitching with guile? Yes. But obviously, that rising fastball has come back to him from somewhere.
Another eye-high pitch that is lifted out into the corner in left field. Lowenstein near the wall makes the catch for the 3rd out. So Jim Palmer is able to get Milwaukee in order for the first time in the game.
Mr. Howie wants to be a do-it-yourselfer, but he's not sure how. He came to Century Hardware for expert advice and quality name brand products like a Skill 7 1/4-inch circular saw, $36.88. The Sterling single control lavatory faucet with pop-up, $29.99. A Werner 20-foot aluminum extension ladder with double rung lock, $67.88. Century Hardware. We're ready to help.
America on the move. On the tire Michelin pioneered, the Radial. We are moving thousands of trucks and trailers. We are delivering produce and flowers and school children. We are taking people to work, to shop, to play. We are pushing, hauling, carrying, scraping. When America demands performance, we deliver. We are Michelin, and we put America on radials.
tough Chevy trucks are taking charge. America's hottest selling new size pickup, Chevy S10, just got hotter. With a revolutionary Instatrack four-wheel drive system that lets you shift from freewheeling two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive high and back at any speed. You can't do that with Ford, Datsun, or Toyota. Chevy S10. There's never been a four-wheeler like it before. Tough Chevy trucks are taking charge.
An inning ago, we mentioned that there had been a conference at the Milwaukee dugout with all of the umpires involved, and Earl Weaver then came out subsequently, and we can now define for you what that conference was about. The umpires had found a scuffed-up baseball, and they walked to the dugout on the Milwaukee side to issue an official warning that the next time they find a scuffed baseball, Don Sutton will be ejected from the game.
Of course, and that's what happened once in the National League. Perhaps later we'll get a chance to play an interview I did with Earl Weaver on this very subject. Perhaps.
Sutton sitting on a 3-1 lead.
You face Weaver, you face a prepared manager, I'm telling.
Johnny Lowenstein, Jim Dwyer, and Cal Ripken are the scheduled hitters for Baltimore. Bottom of the fourth. And Sutton goes to 1-1 as he misses outside with his second pitch. Fastball in, fastball out. Breaking pitch, strike. That left field position for Baltimore between Lowenstein and Gary Rinicky this year has produced 45 home runs, 24 of them for this fellow. Good pitch by Sutton, and he strikes him out. That is the first strikeout of the ball game for Don Sutton. The American League Championship Series begins in California Tuesday, and you'll see it here on ABC at 8 Eastern Time. California meeting the winner of this game today. The National League playoffs, St. Louis waiting for the winner out of the West, either Atlanta or Los Angeles, will begin next Wednesday here on ABC.
Where you going to be?
American League.
I'll miss you.
Yeah, but you'll have some fun with those Redbirds. Dwyer reasonably successful against Sutton. Bounce back to the pitcher. His first time up today. Had his string of 13 successive reaches broken. 2 strikes as Sutton gets the outside corner.
Crowd didn't like the call, but then, not included among the inalienable rights of a citizen, is their right to make a different call.
But they do exercise their privilege of protest.
Of course.
Popped him up. Hit him right on the hands with a pitch. And Cecil Cooper, the first baseman, makes the catch for the second out. Now, Cal Ripken.
Shortstop, Al Ripken.
This young man may explode. He had a difficult time yesterday when hitless. First 2 times up, although neither time wasn't entirely his fault. He failed to score a runner from third with less than 2 out.
Came up to the Baltimore Orioles as a well-advertised third baseman. Weaver moved him to short. Not everybody in the organization liked the move, but few voices have been raised in protest since he went there to do the job.
I'll tell you, he was a terrific third. I first saw him, I was with Gabe Paul at the Puerto Rican League playoffs. He was playing against Bayamon, which was managed by Art Howe. Let's watch this.
Outside.
Kid was spectacular at third. Hit the ball out of sight and is well on his way now to becoming Rookie of the Year in this league. And he's only just begun.
Ball is slapped to left, and Ben Ogilvy on the move holds it down. So we have played 4 innings in Baltimore, and Milwaukee leads the Orioles 3-1. We'll be back after Jim Rapley's report and a commercial message.
Attention.
In the National League West, it's bad news for Dodger fans. Top of the fifth in San Diego, 2 outs. Terry Harper of Atlanta delivered this home run off Tim Lawler to give the Braves a 1-0 lead as they try to clinch the division title. We'll be taking you back to Baltimore after this.
Bob and Sandy Davis needed 2 incomes to afford the home they wanted. Then tragedy struck.
Allstate update. Joint mortgage protection.
Sandy died before the mortgage was paid. Allstate Life's joint mortgage protection could have helped pay off their mortgage if either of them died for less than the price of 2 policies. But the Davises didn't have it. If you both work, talk to an Allstate agent. For life, home, and auto, put yourself in good hands.
Just look at all you get in Denny's Grand Slam breakfast. 2 large eggs cooked in real butter. 2 sausage links, plump and juicy. 2 strips of bacon, crisp and sizzling. And 2 buttermilk pancakes, hot and fluffy. Served with hot syrup and whipped butter. Why, even at its regular price, the Grand Slam breakfast is a great value. And it's only at Denny's, where you'll like our prices and you'll love our food.
Here's to good friends.
Do you guys realize this is our 4th summer place together?
Remember that old beach house we had?
How about the time you 2 almost set the woods on fire?
Okay, who's ready for a Lowenbrow?
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
You know, I think we finally got this down to an art.
Let it be Lowenbrow.
We'll move now to the top of the 5th inning for the Milwaukee Brewers. Jim Gantner, Paul Molitor, and Robin Yount. Milwaukee leading the Orioles 3-1.
And the course of this game thus far changed by 2 Baltimore mistakes. An errant pickoff attempt by Jim Palmer that brought Milwaukee its 2nd run of the 3, the other 2 coming from Yount home runs. And then, of course, possibly the base running mistake of Glenn Gulliver in the bottom of the 1st when Lowenstein had singled to right.
In the hole, shortstop Ripken, low throw, good play, Murray. He's out.
Let's look at this again. Gantner with a seeing-eye ground ball past the outstretched glove of Gulliver. Ripken over there deep in the hole has that rifle. Low throw, but Murray is hardly chopped liver at first. He is in the manner of Cecil Cooper. Each man a complete ball player.
That was Ed Romero batting for Gantner. Now we need to find out what the problem is with Gantner. One would not think, unless he had an ache and pain, that he would not be in the lineup. Ed Romero in Gantner's spot in the batting order. Now we're at the top of the order for Paul Molitor, with Robin Yount, who has been double trouble today, moving to the on-deck circle. Molitor fouls it off. He has hit a fly ball to right field. He has hit a fly ball deep to center field. So he's 0 for 2. Back in the 3rd inning, he sent Bumry way back. There's Yount. The 7th time this season the Milwaukee shortstop has hit 2 home runs in a game. Molitor bounces to the 3rd baseman Gulliver. The throw is on target. You've got 2 down.
All right, let's take a look at the young man's 2nd home run of the game, top of the 3rd inning. The ball right in his alley, and there it goes, deep down the left center alley, out of the ballpark. His earlier home run had been to right field, the opposite field. He is doing nothing to hurt the notion that he should be the MVP in this league.
The appearance of Yount at the plate brings a groan from the Baltimore home crowd of more than 51,000.
Somewhat withdrawn young man, can be laconic of nature. Not eager to express his own excellence. Just does the job. Remember when they questioned his short-stopping ability? Maybe they thought he should be in outfield. They don't question the short-stopping ability anymore. He may not be Ozzie Smith, but he can play.
Fouled away. The count is 2 balls and a strike.
Incredible year for baseball as we pan around the ballpark. Another sellout house, or close to it.
The right side. And they finally get Robin Yount as he hits a liner to the right fielder, Jim Dwyer. And Jim Palmer, for the second inning in a row now, gets Milwaukee in order.
Out of the blue comes the ice blue freshness of Aquavelva. Out of the blue comes the Aquavelva man. Looking for the light scent, the clean scent, the fresh scent that comes from out of the blue. There's something about an Aquavelva man. Be one.
Here's to good friends.
Hey, how you doing?
Tonight.
Hi, Jim.
Hey, what's up?
The view.
Well, I thought it was about time I paid you back.
Must say something.
Paid us back? Pay us back for what? Last Sunday when the Palmers dropped in, you loaned me some beer.
Well, Jim, that was beer. This is Lowenbrow.
Let's call it interest.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
You know, Jim, I've been thinking. Maybe you ought to borrow things more often.
Let it be Lowenbrow.
If your confidence has suffered a shock,
Confidence. We installed it at Sears.
right now get Sears heavy-duty shocks. They're on sale for only $8.88 each, installed. And save 25% on Sears SuperGuard steel-belted radials with a limited warranty for 40,000 miles.
At Sears Tire and Auto Centers, we give you more than a good deal. We install confidence. You can count on Sears.
The inspiration of excellence. Coverage of the American and National League playoffs begins Tuesday night on ABC.
Rick Dempsey has had his troubles with the great man Weaver, but I asked him what Weaver meant to him and the team.
Well, I've played for the man for 7 years, and he's been a real winner. I can't explain some of the things he's done over the year. He's played me when I didn't think I'd play, and he's taken me out of the lineup when I thought I would play. And we've had plenty of arguments and plenty of fights, but the bottom line is we've ended up winning every year. And there's nothing like being in a pennant race or a playoff or a World Series, and if he wanted to stay, I just have to battle it out with him right to the end. I wouldn't care one bit.
And as Dempsey is talking, an excuse me swing, a looping liner off the handle of the bat for right field for his second hit of the ball game.
And he had 3 yesterday, and he has a way of tantalizing this ball club. That's what I mean by the guts and the glue. And I mentioned what a year for baseball back on Friday night, even before that, maybe Thursday night, one night or the other. They set a new all-time season attendance record for Major League Baseball. And today's crowd will just add to that.
Rich Dower is up, the 9th hitter in the order for Baltimore. This is the first time in the ball game that Baltimore has been able to get the leadoff man aboard against Don Sutton. We are in the 5th inning, bottom of the 5th. Milwaukee is leading 3-1. Dempsey, no threat to run. Don Sutton at Milwaukee has started 6 games. He has completed 2.
He is facing a skilled bat manipulator, underrated Rich Dower, excellent hit and run man.
Dempsey goes. The pitch is lifted to left center field. Gorman Thomas, the catch. And Dempsey retreats to first base for the first out.
Weaver did not go opposite field that time.
Now, the top of the order, Bumbry. Sutton is pitching to 6 left-handers in the Baltimore batting order. Remember that.
Center fielder, now Bumbry.
With Dempsey on first, Bunbury up, swinging a foul at the plate for strike one. Gulliver to the on-deck circle. He had the home run, or Baltimore's only run, in the bottom of the third. There's Glenn. The pitch is low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Baltimore now with 5 base hits in the game. The Brewers have 3 base hits, but 2 of those are home runs by Robin Yount. That pitch is high to Al Bunbury. Molitor is on the grass at third as you look at the Milwaukee dugout. Bunbury with good bat control. Not timid about using his speed. He'll put it down if you give him room. He swings and hits it sharply into right center field. Base hit. Dempsey had to hold up for a moment because the second baseman Romero made a valiant effort to get to the ball, and now Dempsey goes belly sliding into third, and with 1 out, the Orioles have runners at the corner.
Let's look at this again. Bunbury, a good contact hitter. Gets one right in his alley. The ball past the outstretched reach of the second baseman. And Dempsey, who had him momentarily hold up as the ball went into the right center pocket, was able to belly slide into third. And Gulliver is up, and he has a home run. For the Birds' lone run thus far.
Only 1 out as they hold Bunbury close at first base, and Al, of course, with great speed. Dempsey edging off third. Sutton's pitch, sharp shot, flagged down by Cooper, goes to second, and he hits the runner. And Dempsey scores from third as the ball bounces out into center field. He's calling foul ball on the play, apparently at first base.
He is certainly doing that.
So Bunbury's going to have a lump on him after being hit in the back by the throw.
Let's look at it. Yeah, let's look at it, Keith, and let's watch the umpire at first, if we can. The ball was stung. A great play by Cooper.
Called it out right away.
Immediately. He was right on top of it, called it. Still, it shows you why Cooper's a Golden Glove first baseman.
Jim Evans calling it instantly. I frankly didn't see him because I was watching Cooper make the play at first. And so back everything up.
It is still 3-1. Runners on first and third. Gulliver at the plate. 1 strike count.
A 1-strike count on Gulliver. The crowd obviously is up. 1 out, runners at the corner. Dempsey off third. Bunbury at first. They pitch out. And the count is 1-1. Bunbury goes. Pitch hit sharply to first baseman. Steps on the bag and comes home with it and holds Dempsey at third base. You've got 2 out now. Cooper with a good quick play at first base, getting the hitter, Gulliver, and alertly coming right back to the plate in case Dempsey had an idea. He was not going on contact. Bunbury now at second for Singleton.
Big out. And Singleton, who has been struggling all year, hitting only .253 coming into this game. Last time up, he caught one, but a magnificent catch by Gorman Thomas robbed him of a home run. Remember?
He has hit the ball to center both times. And Sutton with a breaking pitch on the outside corner for a strike.
He has been hampered in the back in the shoulders. Got here early this morning. Trainer working over. The better part of 3/4 of an hour.
Simmons set up on the outside, looking for the low pitch. He's back on the outside for this one. And it's high.
San Diego has tied Atlanta 1-1, bottom of the 5th. Atlanta had gotten a home run from Terry Harper. Remember, top of the 5th.
It's 3-1 here in Baltimore. The Birds making a run at Sutton here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And the pitch is inside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Ken Singleton. Dempsey at third base. Bumbry at second base. 2 out. Close, but outside. 3 balls and 1 strike with Eddie Murray waiting on deck.
Which has to be in Sutton's mind.
The Milwaukee bullpen is quiet. Bases are loaded.
Well, if you had one man you wanted to come up in this situation as this crowd goes crazy, look at them, it would be Mr. Eddie Murray.
You have Rick Dempsey at third, Al Bumbry at first, second, and Ken Singleton at first, with Eddie Murray at the plate. Murray in the ball game has walked and rolled out to the first baseman.
Batting Bedlin 290 lefty, Bedlin 360 righty. Home run power from either side.
Fair ball. Cooper the play. Down the line, steps on the bag, and Don Sutton and the Milwaukee Brewers have dodged a bullet. So after 5 in Baltimore, Milwaukee 3, the Orioles 1. Back with more baseball after this word from our local stations.
Tonight, Burt Reynolds Smokey and the Bandit 2.
Chocolate sauce soaked in. Motor oil seeped in. Collis oil ground in. Unless you clean the dirts that go all the way through, your whole wash isn't clean. That's why we invented Era. Era has the power of cleaners for deep down dirt, for soaked in grease, for seeped in oil, for ground in collis oil. Penetrating cleaners concentrated into one powerful quarter cup. Think collis oil is tough to clean? Watch Era clean through 2 tough stains plus the collis oil. Put a teaspoon of Era only on the top. Rub, run under water, and look. Era cleaned all the way through, even through the collis oil. That's the kind of clean you want for all your wash. Era cleans all the way through.
What you use in the automatic drip coffee maker?
Folgers flaked coffee.
Delicious.
What you use in the automatic coffee maker? Folgers flaked coffee. Tastes great.
Mrs. Olson, what you used in that? Oh, Folgers flake coffee.
Oh, nothing's better than these coffee makers.
Why's that?
Folgers is mountain grown, the richest kind of coffee.
And it's flaked?
Flaked to release more rich flavor, so you use less. If you normally use 5 measures, you only need 4 of Folgers flaked coffee.
Delicious.
Folgers is a coffee recommended by Procter Silex for its automatic coffee makers. Mountain-grown Folgers. That's how good coffee makers make great coffee.
The People's Court, Monday night at 7:30 on 7.
Bottom of the 5th in San Diego, and suddenly things are falling apart for the Braves. First, left fielder Terry Harper dropped this foul fly ball by leadoff hitter Tony Gwynn. And then Gwynn reached base on the single after Harper dropped his foul fly ball. The next hitter, Broderick Perkins, reached base when an apparent double play ball hit the umpire. Then Tim Flannery singled to load the bases. There was a walk to Tim Lawler that made it 1-1. And then with no outs still, Alan Wiggins tripled past Harper in left field to clear the bases for 3 runs. It is 4-1 San Diego with the Padres still batting. No outs in the bottom of the 5th. Let's go back to Baltimore.
The top man of the bullpen for the Baltimore Orioles is getting loose. You can see the numbers on him. He's worked a lot this summer, as he has done every summer since he has been here.
And San Diego is getting loose. Al Wiggin tripled with the bases loaded. The Padres leading 4-1, bottom of the fifth. Yes.
Cecil Cooper hits the ball high and deep and gone. The Milwaukee Brewers long balling Jim Palmer. Again, Robin Yount has hit 2 home runs, and now Cecil Cooper delivers at 385 feet. It is number 32 for 1982 for Coop, and the Brewers build the lead to 4-1.
All right, let's look at it again, and this has been Palmer's key mistake. The ball up high again, where Coop could get everything on it, deep into right center, over the fence. So Coop now joins Robin Yount on the offensive side in the heroics, and on the defensive side, he has had a glorious day. He's made 3 great plays.
He has indeed. Ted Simmons is up there now, and Ben Oglevie to follow.
There is Coop. How quickly it all doth change.
4-1 now Milwaukee.
A listless group apparently put to rout yesterday for the 3rd time in a row. They're very different now.
Ray Miller, the Baltimore pitching coach, coming back to the mound as Jim Palmer goes quickly after the home run to a 2-ball, no-strike count on Ted Simmons. And when Robin Yount hit the home run, he was able to get Cooper to pop up to the shortstop. But the next time Cooper came up, he hit a line shot that Eddie Murray gloved, just barely got it in the webbing of the glove, but this time he couldn't get Cooper, and he shot it out of here, and Earl Weaver is on the phone now.
Keeping you abreast of what's happening elsewhere. San Diego has added another run in the bottom of the 5th. It's now 5-1. And yes, the Al Wiggin who tripled with the bases loaded is the same Al Wiggin who went through the drug program.
Palmer stays as Miller trots back to the Baltimore dugout. Tippy Martinez should be about warm in the Baltimore bullpen. And the count, 2 balls and no strikes. And Palmer is in after the visit from Miller with a strike to make it 2-1. Milwaukee has only 4 hits off Jim Palmer, but Palmer's own throwing area accounting for 1 of the Milwaukee runs, and the other 3 have come on solo home runs. The pitch sails high and away, and Simmons gets a walk. That is the 3rd base on balls issued by Jim Palmer in the game.
And that is it for Mr. Palmer as Mr. Weaver comes up.
And you figure it'll be Tippy Martinez coming out of the bullpen. So Jim Palmer yielding a home run here in the top of the 6th inning to Cecil Cooper, the 4th run of the game, walks Ted Simmons, and he will leave the ball game as Weaver calls for Tippy Martinez, and we'll be back.
We are USA 1, taking charge with a shape that turns air into an engineering ally. Celebrity, so aerodynamic it uses less than 12 horsepower to cruise at 50 miles an hour. So efficient, its mileage estimates beat even some smaller, less roomy imports. The front-wheel drive Celebrity, a new generation Chevrolet. USA 1 is taking charge.
You want something better, only food that's good and fresh. Wendy's does it better. For you, there's nothing less than Wendy's fresh ground beef. Hamburgers better you can't find. They're made and cooked and served up fresh. They're not the frozen kind. That's why you're Wendy's kind of people. You want something better. You're Wendy's kind of people.
Compare dandruff shampoos. There's good, there's better, and then there's Blue. Selsun Blue, the best dandruff shampoo money can buy. Clinical testing among leading brands proved it works best with more complete dandruff control. Selsun Blue is the only leading brand with the anti-dandruff ingredient doctors prescribe most. Remember, there's good, there's better, and there's Blue. Selsun Blue. It simply works the best.
ABC Sports means unequaled coverage of Olympic Games. In 1984, we'll be in Sarajevo and Los Angeles when the Olympic tradition continues on ABC.
The seasonal numbers on Tippy Martinez, and there are times when this left-hander just can be invincible, untouchable. And, of course, they desperately need that kind of performance from him right now, as Martinez will be pitching to Ogilvy, Gorman Thomas, and Roy Howell. The American League playoffs begin next Tuesday night, and you'll see it here on ABC, with the winner of this ball game at California, 8 Eastern Time. The National League playoffs, Atlanta or Los Angeles against St. Louis, and that will begin on Wednesday, which you will also see here on ABC. Atlanta now is behind in San Diego by a 4-1 score.
It's up to 5-1, Keith.
So they could be facing playoff in that National League West.
If the Dodgers win.
Yeah, if the Dodgers win, the playoff game would be in Los Angeles. 4-1 here in Baltimore, Milwaukee leading. And the first pitch by Martinez to Ogilvy is in for a strike. That's a ball, low.
So two career great pitchers faced off against each other today. And thus far, at least, Sutton has prevailed over Jim Palmer.
Martinez goes to 2-1 as he sails a pitch outside off the plate.
Which I might add does not for a moment dim what Palmer has done for his team this year, or his greatness.
Ogilvy looks at slow. He's also unusual in that all of his major league career has been with the Baltimore Orioles, all 263 wins in behalf of Baltimore. And our crowd, 51,642. It is the third wall-to-wall sellout in Baltimore this season. Bouncer, second baseman, over to the shortstop Ripken, back to first, double play. So Dower, Ripken, and Murray for the DP.
This is a beautiful pickup by Dower, who charged the ball, played it on the short hop. Watch closely. That was it, and that was the key to the double play.
Getting Simmons at second, Ogilvy at first, and now it is Gorman Thomas with 2 out. The Brewers getting single runs in innings 1, 2, 3, and again in the 6th. And Thomas swings and misses on a breaking pitch for strike 1.
I think the greatest tension in this ballpark is lodged in the two owners. Bud Selig of Milwaukee in a box to our right, Edward Bennett Williams of Baltimore in a box to our left. Each of them on tenterhooks. I was with Selig this morning. He was called by Mr. Brofman of the Expos, their owner, to wish him luck. And he said, "Don't call me, don't jinx me. What do you think I'm going through?" Said, "I haven't been able to sleep for 4 days." And Edward Bennett Williams says, "I'm saying a miracle. I haven't been able to sleep for 4 days."
Count on Gorman Thomas, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Both owners, by the way, very close friends and deep supporters of Bowie Kuhn. Commissioner is facing some heat and some contest as to whether or not he'll remain in that job.
Thomas, roller to third. Gulliver's throw. And the inning is over. Milwaukee adds a run on Cooper's home run. In the middle of the 6th, they lead 4-1.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Hi, guys.
Well, look who's back.
Must say something more.
Okay, Paul Bunyan. Let's go watch some of this burn.
You always work your guests this hard.
You got enough strength left to lift a Lowenbrow?
Lowenbrow? I'll use 2 hands.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
You know the work's pretty hard, but the pay is not bad.
I figure once ought to be enough to fix any car problem. I don't have time to keep going back and back and back.
Hi, didn't I see you in here the other day with a bad case of pre-ignition? Problems?
Nope, liked your work, Mr. Goodwrench. Brought my wife's car in for an oil change and filters.
Mr. Goodwrench has genuine GM parts available and GM-trained mechanics pledged to fix your GM car right the first time.
Keep that great GM feeling.
Mr. Goodwrench makes me want to come back.
With genuine GM parts.
The entire meaning of baseball is time. Baseball is how we get even with those relentless seconds and minutes and hours of life. While the game is being played, time miraculously changes. Baseball fever. Catch it. It's worth it.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Even before the game, I talked to Earl Weaver about the tendency for Sutton to throw lower and lower in the sixth. Here's Weaver.
See, and we've watched it in this league with Tommy John. I don't know if Don throws the spitter or not. He came from the, he really come from the other league. I do know that umpires have inspected him over there, and there was, at one time, he was ejected from the ball game for scratching the ball. So what we want to do is just make that pitch be above our knees if we possibly can, and we've talked about it, and that's the way we approached it over in Milwaukee.
Sixth inning. Let's see if those pitches get lower and lower and get a strike call, Keith.
Well, that one was in on the knees for strike one to John Lowenstein, to be followed by Jim Dwyer and Cal Ripken. 4-1 Milwaukee leading Baltimore. Lowenstein lifts it in the air to the left side. It may hang up there. They may have a play. Robin Yount makes the catch after a long run. So Lowenstein fouls out.
All right, another look. Long ground coverage. Great range by Robin Yount right here.
Jim Dwyer.
Once they wanted to make an outfielder out of him, and that can show you what their thinking was at the time and why.
Jim Dwyer hitless in today's ball game. Bouncing to the pitcher and popping up to the first baseman. Cecil Cooper has made 3 big defensive plays at first base for Milwaukee, and Sutton gets a swinging strike on Dwyer.
You saw that ball drop, my friends. Look at it again. Down she goes.
Another shot, fair ball, going to the corner, ricochets. Charlie Moore chasing and holds. Dwyer to a single. Good play by Moore. They respect Charlie's arm.
2 things happened here. Let's look at it again. First, the ball was hit that not even Cooper could come up with. The ball shooting past him. Then, and here's the first of the 2 things, the ricochet. Perfect for Charlie Moore, who was perfectly positioned for it, in fairness, too. But a great break on the ricochet, thus a single instead of what appeared to be a double.
The 7th hit of the ball game off Sutton. Cal Ripken comes to the plate now with 1 out, and Jim Dwyer at first base. Now we're getting some movement in the Milwaukee bullpen. Nobody throwing as yet, but people are moving around.
Bottom of the 6th in San Francisco. The score still knotted at 2-2. Valenzuela against Lasky. Top of the 6th, San Diego. Padres 5. The Braves 1.
Sutton's pitch to Ripken. It's low. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Things get tighter and tighter, my friend. The innings dwindle down to a precious few.
It is Jim Slayton now in the bullpen. I would think Bob McClure would be up as well. He's a left-hander. He would force Weaver by bringing in McClure if he has to bring a pitcher. Ripken fouls it off to shuffle his batting order around, because there are 6 left-handed batters in the Baltimore lineup right now. And one would think he would come with the left-hander first, if he has to come at all.
Ripken having a difficult time yesterday, again today, thus far. Maybe ready to explode, as he has done so often this season.
Dwyer off first. Ripken fouls it away again. To the right side upper deck.
This is a beautifully built kid, Keith.
A big kid. About 6'3", 195 pounds, around there.
6'3", 6'3 and a half.
Sutton pitching him on the hands, and Ripken keeps spoiling him to the right.
And very effectively on the hands. Too risky to take.
Working him high and tight. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Shadows now have ceased to be a problem for the hitters. This time Sutton is inside too much, and it evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The entirety of the grass portion of the infield now covered by shadow. That's foul. Sutton is showing Ripken some major league pitches.
He really is. He's moving that ball all around. From the high, tight stuff, you just saw what he threw. Sinking low and away.
Two. Pops that up on the right side. Might have a play on this one. Moore coming in a hurry. They can't get it. It is a foul ball as Moore and Simmons, or Cooper it is, banged together down there. Oh, it's Romero, number 11, who banged into the fence. Cooper was down the line. Moore was coming. Romero, the second baseman, actually probably had the better shot at it. He's number 11, and they just simply can't get it.
But they were lucky. It was only a matter of an inch and a half. Could have been a fair ball and a double. But that's the game.
Well, that's what Harvey Keene said there. In the first 3 games, all the inches have been right for Baltimore and wrong for us. 3 home runs have given the Brewers a 4-1 edge. And Sutton now at 2-2 with Cal Ripken Jr. Ball is lifted in the air to center field. Gorman Thomas going back. Makes the catch on the warning track. Not more than a yard from the wall. And Dwyer retreats to first base.
From the center field camera, the best ball hit in the last 2 days by Cal Ripken. And even that ball was low, but Ripken got under it, lifted it with good strength. But Gorman Thomas playing brilliantly out in center field. Remember the catch he made earlier to Rob Kinney's Singleton. This one not as difficult, but beautifully played. And so we come to Rick Dempsey,
who is 2 for 2. With 2 out in the bottom of the 6th inning. Just inside. When Baltimore beat Milwaukee yesterday and moved into the first place tie, it was the first time since April 10 that Baltimore had tasted the sweetness of first place in the American League East. Of course, the last time I was here to do a ball game, I was here with Bob Uecker, if I remember, and I've been to many places lately. It's hard to remember, but we talked and documented at considerable length the effectiveness of this Baltimore ball club in its history under Weaver in the month of September.
Again, that Dodger Giant score, Keith. 2-2 in the 7th.
Baltimore's history under Weaver in the month of September, roughly 64% winning percentage, which is pretty heavy. That ball is lifted in the air, foul, and drifting toward the stands. Coops over to have a look and cannot get to it.
Cooper's everywhere. Give him this kind of running room around first base. There's nothing he won't be after and nothing he won't be close to. There, bottom of the 6th, San Diego. Closing down on Atlanta. You know the heartbreak that will happen here, no matter which team loses. What it's like to go through 161 games and then lose it on the final day.
Sharply struck. Good play by Romero. Over to Yount to get the runner coming down. So, the Orioles get a base runner, can't move him around, and after 6, it is 4-1. And we'll be back with more after Jim Lampley and a commercial message.
In a 2-2 tie ball game in San Francisco, Fernando Valenzuela, who struggled early, is getting stronger and stronger. He has now struck out 9 Giants and retired 10 in a row. We'll be taking you back to Baltimore right after this.
Guys, we've got some good news.
And some bad news.
First, the good news. In shaving tests nationwide, Gillette's Good News disposable razor with micro-smooth twin blades gave men a closer, smoother, safer shave than Bic.
Now, the bad news. If you use Bic, you are not getting as close, as smooth, or as safe a shave as with
Gillette's Good News.
Sorry, Bic.
Gillette's Twin Blade Good News. It's bad news for Bic.
The beauty of a Delta faucet is, when it's on, it's on. And when it's off, it's off. Its washerless design helps keep it from dripping, so it lasts and lasts and lasts. Delta faucet. We're first because we last.
Time. When you ship air cargo, time really is money. That's why Flying Tigers makes you this 100% on-time guarantee. No matter what you have to ship, we'll pick it up, fly it, and deliver it virtually anywhere in the country on time, or you don't pay. Flying Tigers. It's on time, or it's on us.